Welcome to the Short Movie channel. Our film begins with an old incident, where we see a girl named Eva. On this particular day, Eva wakes up startled by a sound she hears. When she goes out and checks the house, she discovers that there are criminals in the house, and not only that, they've also killed her father. However, it's clear that Eva isn't scared, as if she's been through this before. She isn't afraid at all, grabs a gun, and kills the criminal who killed her father. 12 years after this incident, Eva is getting married to a guy named Dirk. On the wedding day, Dirk's father tries to trick him into giving up his inheritance, but Dirk tells him that he understands his intentions and won't sign the paper. He takes it from him and rips it up. Dirk and Eva get married and head off to a remote island for their honeymoon, staying at Dirk's grandfather's house. Upon arrival, Dirk tells her that his grandfather bought this house back in the 1940s. They begin enjoying their time on the island, going out, exploring, and having fun together. Everything is going perfectly until one day, while they're sitting in a restaurant, Dirk goes to the bathroom, and a man named Manny introduces himself to Eva. When Dirk returns, they meet Manny, who tells them about a place nearby called Caberti, where there's an amazing night party. He invites them to join him, and they agree to go. But things take a turn when one of the people at the party, a guy named Tranquillo, starts getting attracted to Eva. He tries to dance with her, which makes Dirk angry. A fight breaks out between Dirk and Tranquillo, and it escalates when Tranquillo's men show up. However, Eva proves she's not an easy target, standing her ground and not allowing anyone to touch her. Eventually, Manny takes her in his car, and they escape from the scene. On the way, Eva begins to recall old memories. We see that her father used to train her in fighting since she was a little girl, and she has developed incredible fighting skills. The next day, Manny shows up at their house to apologize for what happened the previous day and invites them to another adventure to make up for it. Unfortunately, they agree to go with him again. This time, they go into the woods, where they play a game similar to Truffle. But Eva gets tied up and starts walking with the group through the woods. However, during the game, the rope holding Dirk comes loose, and he almost falls. Manny tries to help him, but unfortunately, Dirk falls and gets injured. Eva becomes worried and asks a guy named Jojo, who is part of the group, to call an ambulance. She goes into the woods to search for Dirk, and after some time, she finds him. He's a lifeless body with cuts and bruises all over his body. But thankfully, he's still breathing. They immediately call for an ambulance, but the problem is that the paramedics, for an unknown reason, refuse to take them in the ambulance. Instead, they give them a card and tell them they can head to the hospital with the address on it. They leave, and Eva tries to find Manny's uncle but doesn't find him. So, she decides to take a motorcycle and chase after the ambulance to get to the hospital. The island, as you know, is not in the US. It's far away. Even though she has the address, she's unfamiliar with the area. She keeps following them until another car hits her. However, the driver of the car is a kind man, and he offers to take her to the hospital since her motorcycle broke down. When Eve arrives at the hospital, and there is a shocking moment. She asks about Dirk, and the staff member tells her that no one by that name is here. Naturally, Eva gets scared and starts running around the city, checking every hospital, but she can't find Dirk anywhere. She then heads to the police station and files a report. While there, she recalls her past, remembering how her father used to train her to be strong, to the point of madness. He used to torture her, claiming it was to get her used to pain, but that's not important now. The important thing is that Dirk's father, mother, and sister, Sandy, arrive on the island to search for him. They immediately start looking for him and waste no time. They head to the police station again, where they meet the officer in charge. Eva tells him everything that happened, and he suggests they start the search from where Dirk fell. They head there, and here comes the first surprise. They find that someone else owns the place where Jojo was supposed to be working. Jojo, whom Eva met yesterday, is nowhere to be found. On top of that, the person there says he wasn't even working the day before. Eva is very confused, but then she sees Jojo, who tries to deny knowing her. The officer takes her and leaves because there's no evidence against Jojo. When they return to the station, the officer starts questioning her and shows her the video where she was seen beating people in the night. The officer tells her the video came from a fake account on his email, and he points out that he sees signs of serious violence in her. He even suggests that she might have killed Dirk because she knows about his assets. Eva denies this, saying that the officer is just making things up because he's not doing his job properly. She realizes that the officer is trying to provoke her, so she stays quiet. She then starts handing out pictures of Dirk to people, hoping someone has seen him. During this time, something strange happens. Eva thinks she sees Dirk in a car, so she runs after it and stops the car, but it turns out it's not Dirk. It seems like what she's seeing isn't real, but she doesn't find any results. She continues handing out the pictures and returns home. At home, Dirk's father talks to her and openly accuses her of killing Dirk to get the family's wealth. Eva responds respectfully, curses him, and leaves. A few days later, Dirk's father, mother, and Sandy decide to return to America, while Eva remains on the island, still holding on to the hope of finding her husband. She begins her search in her own way. She goes to the place where Jojo works and, without any warning, ties herself to the highway where Dirk fell and forcibly drags Jojo with her. She keeps him hanging in the air and threatens him, saying he must confess or he'll die. She takes out her phone and starts recording Jojo, who admits that he knows her and that she came to him with her husband. He says that Manny was the one who called for the ambulance, so he must know where Dirk is. Jojo also admits that Manny gave him money and told him to deny knowing her to avoid getting caught up in a case. In the end, Jojo gives Eva Manny's phone number, and she takes the video and heads to the police station. There, the officer arrests her for torturing someone to get a confession. Eva tries to resist and even hits the officers, but they manage to stop her. The officer tells her that she's no longer welcome on the island and sends another officer named Santos to escort her off the island. Eva goes to the city and decides to travel to her country. They get on a boat, of course, to leave the island. On the boat, Eva manages to overpower Santos, hits him, breaks free, and jumps into the water, swimming until she returns to the island. There, she enters a hotel, steals clothes and a phone to replace her torn clothes and the phone that was taken from her earlier. She continues looking for Dirk, grabs her things, and heads to a nightclub to continue her search. There, she finds Manny and waits for him to go into the bathroom. She follows him in and deals with him harshly until he admits that Dirk fell from him by accident, but he ran away because he was staying on the island illegally, and it would have been easy to arrest him. He also knows that he was the one who called the ambulance, but he found out that someone else called before him and reported it, so he ran away before the police arrived. Eva asks him who called, and he tells her that he doesn't know and that he never asked. She then shows him drawn pictures of two people who are supposed to have come in the ambulance. He tells her their names are Omar and Timo, two criminal brothers. He then tells her that he will take her to them, and she believes him and goes with him. They go to the house where Manny and his mother live, and they rest until the next day. The next day, they go straight to Omar and Timo's city and keep searching for them but find nothing. On the way, Eva notices a drawing on a wall and realizes that one of the brothers had it as a tattoo on his arm. Manny tells her that it's a drawing related to a cockfight competition held in the area. They head to the competition, and Manny goes inside to search for them, leaving Eva in the car. After a while, Eva sees one of them walking in front of her, so she forgets about Manny and starts running after him. This is Timo. She follows him to his house, where she confronts him, beats him, and continues torturing him. Timo says, "I swear, I don't know anything except that a woman called my brother Omar and asked him to do this." Then, Omar continued and knows where your husband is because he was dealing directly with the woman who called, not me. Eva stays with him, waiting for Omar, who arrives after a short while. He starts fighting with Eva until, by mistake, she kills him. She doesn't get a chance to ask him anything. After a while, the police arrive, and the officer learns that she's currently accused of killing Omar and attempting to kill his brother Timo. The real shock comes when it's revealed that Dirk's father and sister have accused her of killing Dirk and being responsible for his disappearance. The officer also learns that they are going to transfer her to the headquarters for further investigation. She is handcuffed and put in a police car to be taken to the headquarters. 2 officers are with her, but instead of going to the headquarters, they take her to the desert. There, they get out and start digging in the ground. Eva quickly realizes that they're about to change her, so she breaks free from the handcuffs and kills both officers. After a while, the officer in charge of the case wakes up to the phone ringing. When he picks it up, he finds Eva on the other end, who tells him, "Come to home, we need to talk." He rushes to her, finding his daughter asleep with Eva next to her, holding a gun to her head. The officer says to her, "I'll confess everything, just don't hurt my daughter." He begins to speak, telling her that he was the one responsible for everything, because there was a doctor in the hospital named Aflar, who was supposed to be treating Dirk when he came to the hospital. However, by mistake, he cut a major artery, which led to Dirk's death. Since Aflar had some dirt on the officer decided to cover it up to avoid being exposed. He went so far as to make the whole film and hide the body. Once Eva learns what she needed, she kills the officer, takes Dirk, and heads to Mani's place. She cries over her husband's death. The next day, she goes to the hospital and the first person she sees is Lisa, a receptionist, who tells her, "Your husband isn't here." Eva pushes past her and grabs her card to get access to the hospital. She manages to sneak in and heads straight for Dr. Aflar. Without much dialogue, she places a bag over his head and starts choking him, asking him what happened to her husband. She tells him, "Tell me, or I'll kill you now." Aflar responds, "You don't understand, your husband didn't die. Let me help you so he doesn't die." She pauses, then shows him the surveillance footage, and we see that Dirk is alive. People arrive with Dirk in a wheelchair, confirming that he's still alive. The leader of this group, named Silvio, asks Aflar, "Who is this?" Aflar explains that she's his new assistant. They all head into the operating room, and at this point, we learn everything. Silvio is actually suffering from cancer, and the only treatment for him is to take bone marrow from others and inject it into himself to stay alive. This is what he's been doing with Dirk ever since he kidnapped him. When he's done with Dirk, he'll kidnap someone else and do the same. Eva then pulls out her gun and kills one of Silvio's men, capturing Silvio and the other man. She grabs Dirk and escapes the operating room, locking the door behind her. Silvio contacts his men, who begin attacking Eva. She manages to fight back and escapes with Dirk. They take the elevator down and manage to get outside the hospital, only to find Silvio and his remaining men waiting for them. But Silvio, being stupid, hides behind a fuel tank. Eva blows it up, catching Silvio on fire, and she quickly rushes over to put it out. She grabs Dirk, jumps in the car, and they drive off. Dirk points a gun at Silvio, who coldly provokes them, but Eva shoots him in the leg, forcing him out of the car before they kill him. Silvio gets in one of his men's cars and continues chasing Eva and Dirk. Eva, however, had made arrangements with Mani to meet up with him, and they all head in that direction. But Silvio catches up and opens fire, forcing them to jump into the water. They swim to the other side, where Mani takes them to his house. However, the problem is that Silvio and his men, along with a group of police officers, soon arrive. Mani and Eva, along with Dirk, then escape to other houses in the village, while Mani stays behind. Silvio and his men interrogate Mani, but he refuses to tell them anything. Eventually, Silvio and his men leave to continue their search. One of Silvio's men finds Eva, but she kills him before he has a chance to do anything. Shortly after, another one of Silvio's men shows up, and she kills him as well. Meanwhile, Dirk is hiding in another house, where he's confronted by one of Silvio's men, but he quickly takes him down. We return to Eva, who is now face to face with Silvio himself. At this point, Silvio throws down his weapon, and the two of them begin fighting hand to hand. As they fight, Dirk takes down another one of Silvio's men. The police then arrive to stop them, and they arrest both Eva and Silvio. Eva has control over Silvio and holds a knife to his neck. However, before she can kill him, Tranquilo arrives and apologizes to both Dirk and Eva. He tells everyone that they can't kidnap tourists because the island relies on them. He then asks Eva for the knife and assures her, "Don't worry, I won't let him live." Without hesitation, Tranquilo uses the knife to slice Silvio's throat, then apologizes to Dirk and Eva again. He tells them, "From now on, I'm in charge of the island. I'll pay you more than Silvio ever did." He also tells Dirk and Eva to leave. Finally, Monty takes them to the sea, where they board a boat that will take them to the capital so they can travel from there. They leave, heading for their next destination, having finally escaped the horror of their honeymoon turned to tragedy. And that's where the movie ends. Don't forget like and subscribe.